them a kid. They're not freaking kids. They're adults. If Andrew Harrison, 19-year-old male, United States citizen, if he says those exact same words out on the street and someone commits a violent act, you can't. If you're to do something, if you're a 19-year-old and you do something that is immoral or illegal or results in any sort of negative actions, things of that nature, when you're held accountable to deal with the consequences of said actions or words, you have to deal with the same set of penalties that every adult has. They don't go, oh, well, you're 19, so you're an adult, but you're still kind of a kid too, so you get to go by a separate set of penalties and judgment and everything like that. Be frickin' S. Do not ever give me he's a 19-year-old kid. 19-year-old kids do stupid stuff. Sure, 19-year-old individuals do stupid stuff. But here in the United States of America, that individual is not a kid. That individual is an adult. In the court of law, that individual would be seen as and tried as an adult. In time of war or peace, that individual can go put their life on the line for our country and serve in our armed forces. You telling me that a 19-year-old in the Army is a kid? No, a 19-year-old in the Army is a man, and a damn respectable one too, or woman. But not a girl, not a kid, not a boy. This is BS. You're 18, you're in the United States, you're an adult, not a kid. So, oh man. So please, I beg of you, if you are one of these people that gives all these college players and young professional players free passes or lighter, lesser judgment passed than other grown-ups who are actually mature, just because they fall on the young adult side of adulthood, please stop thinking of those people and referring to those people as kids, children, boys, girls, anything like that. Do they call it the NCAA Boys Basketball Championship? No, they don't, do they? They call it the NCAA Men's Championship and the NCAA Women's Championship. So why, when one of these competitors does something that we like or don't like, or anything of any nature that we have to that we respond to, that provokes something in us, how can we go to they're just a kid defense? No, they're not. If they were just a kid, we'd be calling it the NCAA Boys Championship, not the NCAA Men's and NCAA Women's Championship. You can't have it both ways based off of whatever suits your interest or your point of view at that specific moment in time. You can't. You can't have it both ways. Either they're adults and they're adults all the time and are treated and respected and thought of as such, or they're kids and they're treated and thought of and everything as such all the time. One or the other. You can't have it both ways. That's what I'm on fire about. And then just the cherry on the cake, the other one, the one other argument I've heard that also irks me quite a bit, not quite as much, but it irks me quite a bit, is the whole, it's our society and the media's fault because we got a microphone and a camera in front of everybody's face all the frickin' time. Yeah, that's true. We do. And does that create a lot of potential for mishaps? Absolutely. Does it cause those mishaps? Absolutely not. People cause those mishaps. If you've got if you've got a camera on you, airing you live across the country in front of millions of people, and a microphone in front of your face, someone asks you a question about a person, and the first thing that comes to your head is F that N-word. I mean, are you kidding me? You actually say it out loud. You cover your mouth to try and so that no one hears it, but you still say it out loud. Are you kidding me? How stupid are people? What? How can you not be brought up better than that? I was brought up better than that. My grandmother, God rest her soul, amazing human being, she always told me that if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. And whether you live your life by that principle or not, it's irrelevant. To not be intelligent enough to understand that there are microphone and cameras and all kinds of exposure on me right now, and if I were to say something that could possibly be taken or misinterpreted or misconstrued or whatever as negative, hateful, unacceptable, inappropriate, racist, any of these things, even if I think that, it is best to just say it in my head with my lips closed and my tongue not moving and no sound projecting from my mouth. And then when I'm done saying it in my head, I will think of something else to say that is sensible for other people to hear. I mean, come on. It ain't the microphone's fault for being in front of the kid's face, and it ain't the guy who put the microphone there's fault either. It's the kid's fault for being that stupid to say something that stupid out loud with a microphone in front of his mouth. And I just did it again. It is also stupid of us as a society, as a media, as people to diminish, to downplay the words and choice of this person based on their age and give them a free pass. One or the other. You can't have it both ways. Either you're an adult or you're not, and it's either all the time or none of the time. So, anyway, that's what I'm on fire about. That lasted longer than I wanted it to. Boy, we got a lot of meat to get into. So, that's it. Putting balls on fire out. And we're segueing right to our first mega bowl, meaty topic of the show. That being the championship game on Monday night, which saw the championship game Monday night, which saw the Duke Blue Devils, congratulations, Brett, defeat the Wisconsin Badgers to win this year's NCAA championship. Tyus Jones for the Duke Blue Devils was named Most Outstanding Player. He had 23 points in the game, 19 in the second half. And speaking of the second half, the game was tied at halftime, and it was a great back-and-forth, really competitive game up until about the last 3 minutes or so. With about 3 minutes to go, the Duke Blue Devils got a couple breaks in a row, back-to-back. 3, as a matter of fact. One regarding an out-of-bounds on them that wasn't called, and then a very fortunate three-point play that wasn't a fluke. It was just difficult and fortunate. And then another possession that, upon review, looked like it was for certain, should have been the Badgers' ball and was again awarded to Duke. So you could definitely question the refs a little bit in this game and throughout the tournament, but you're always going to see that, especially in college sports. You can't expect the refs to get everything right in any sport, but especially college athletics. I think the only frustration in regards to the refs is when any ref goes to a replay monitor, sees what we all see, and doesn't come to the same conclusion that every single other person who saw that with working eyeballs does. That's the one problem you can have there. Or not calling it equal both ways. Basketball's a game where refs tend to make up calls for one team or the other based off of if they get one wrong. They'll call a make-up call soon, kind of balance everything out. It was definitely, everything was called Duke's way, nothing was called Wisconsin's way. I'm not saying that they were incorrect in any of those calls or non-calls, but it was definitely a one-sided thing, and the stat sheet will show you that Duke went to the line twice as much as the Badgers did and made 3 times as many free throws and whatever other statistics you want to go look up to support that. But all in all, it was a really good, well-fought game. Duke edged them out in the last couple minutes of the second half. And, overall, I just got to say that I felt a little, and not because I'm not a Duke fan, which, by the way, I am not a Duke fan, but I'm not a Duke hater. I'm just not a Duke fan. But it felt just a little unsatisfying to me as a casual fan who wasn't really invested into any one specific team and had already had their bracket busted, so I wasn't, cheering for any of those reasons. But it just felt a little unsatisfying because I think you wanted Kentucky versus Duke. You want that undefeated going for it storyline, and we didn't get that. Kentucky getting beat by Wisconsin. So then what you want is you want the team that took out the Giant to get rewarded for taking out the Giant and prove that it wasn't a fluke and that the Giant really was great and that they were just that much, that they were even greater. And to have to beat Arizona before you even get to play Kentucky, before you even get to play Duke. I mean, Wisconsin was in the toughest region almost certainly in the tournament. They had to play every top seed possible throughout their entire tournament run. And then you throw in the element, too, that they're a team of juniors and seniors, a team that's played together for years and stayed in college to accomplish things on this team, as opposed to you've got Dukes and Kentuckys and these other programs that are all freshmen and sophomores just making a rest stop on their way to the NBA, getting a little training. Well, I shouldn't say a little training, getting a lot of NBA training and a free education for however long they choose to stay. But so then you throw that in there with the fact that Duke had the easiest path by far of any team to the Final Four, to the championship game, for that matter. Constantly playing low seeds or high seeds that were overrated and not that good to begin with. And so to have a team that had that easy path getting all the way to the championship game, to come out as the champion when they didn't beat the Giant, and they didn't beat the Giant, and they weren't the Giant killer, excuse me, it's a little unsatisfying, but nonetheless entertaining of a game or a tournament. It was a great tournament, entertainment-wise, from top to bottom, throughout all the rounds. This does mark Coach K's 5th title, which is crazy impressive. And I think if you don't consider him one of the top 2 college basketball coaches of all time, you need your head examined, or you need to do some more research or something, because other than, with the exception of maybe John Wooden at UCLA, Coach Krzyzewski is the greatest. If he's not the greatest, Wooden is the greatest. And I do feel Wooden is probably the greatest. But what Krzyzewski has done, winning 5 titles in basically every kind of era that college basketball's been in since he's been a coach. I mean, what the guy has done with that program year after year is truly remarkable, and he is an all-time great. So congratulations to him and the rest of the Duke Blue Devil players and their fans. And my heart goes out to you, Wisconsin Badger fans, even though I tend to cheer strongly against every team from Wisconsin since I am from Minnesota. But I do feel for you guys on this one, and I was actually pulling for you guys to win that championship. Let's see. All right, some final quick notes on that Final Four/championship game. Duke freshmen scored 60 of their 68 points in that championship game. And that was a record for most ever by freshmen in a single game. Also, it was the first time that Wisconsin had been to the championship game since 1941, and that's the longest period of time ever so far in between championship appearances. Man. And anyway, last little bit of college hoops news. Avery Johnson, former point guard in the NBA, former head coach in the NBA, great analyst and commentator on ESPN. He has accepted the new head coaching job at the University of Alabama for their men's basketball program. So good luck, Avery Johnson, and good luck to the Alabama basketball program. I don't know that they've ever been relevant as a basketball team, so good luck with that. All right, you're listening to Balls Deep Sports Talk here on Northern Lights Radio at WNLMradio.com. I'm Scotty Ball, and we're going to give you your next serving of meat here. And the next serving of meat is involving the 2015 Major League Baseball season. It is here, everybody. So crack open a beer, throw some hot dogs on the grill, get your peanuts and Cracker Jacks, watch some baseball. There will be baseball on just about every day. No, I mean that, actually. If you listen to last week's show, you will know that the only days here in April, now that the Twins have started, that they do not play is the 14th of April and the 23rd of April. Those are their only days off for the whole rest of the month. After that, their next day off is